Hello, talking for Joshi and Anime Curious. My name is RandomSama613, and welcome to Anime Opinions. This is going to be the first of 2 weeks of Fall 2013 Final Impressions. This week I'm going to start with Unbreakable Machine Doll. Unbreakable Machine Doll, when I first started watching it, I did a first impression, which will be linked probably somewhere over here. When I first started watching Unbreakable Machine Doll, the art aesthetic is one of the things that really bugged me. And that persisted throughout the entire series. It didn't improve for me. I didn't start to like it anymore. I thought part of it might have been that I was watching it in a lower quality on Funimation's website, but I switched to Hulu to watch it and watched it in higher quality, and it looks just as fuzzy and out of focus, which is a particular design aesthetic that I don't really like. So that didn't do it for me. There's also this particular reason they drew the characters I didn't really like, but you know, that's okay, whatever. That was their choice, and I personally just didn't like it. So that's really a personal thing. I really like the world that they used. I mean, they basically used 18th century Victorian England, but, well, sorry, 19th century Victorian England. But they steampunked it, which is generally where steampunk occurs. And I think they did a really good job keeping the world fleshed out and worked with really well. They did a great job with dealing with all the noble houses, stuff like that, and just it's a really complex and intricate world. I really like how they kind of worked with that, and that's really a strong point of this series. The concept is really interesting as well, just the steampunk aesthetic overall and the automatons that are being fought with and how they're controlled by basically magic. And I just thought that was a really interesting idea, and I don't think the execution was as good as it could have been, but I'll get into that. I think that the protagonist, Raishin, he's an okay protagonist. I think that he's probably a little bit deeper than some shonen protagonists, because he does have a lot of motivation and stuff like that, and they do go into some of this. So I really kind of like him as a protagonist, but at the same time, he has a lot of flaws, which is fine. It actually makes him a little more human seeming. As for the other protagonist, I'm going to call Charlotte another protagonist. I think that she's kind of a weaker protagonist, because I find her to be a little bit more helpless than she should be. I find that Raishin's having to help her a lot more than her character seems to give off the aura of, if that makes any sense. She doesn't seem like she needs as much help as she's getting, and she's getting a lot more, and she's getting a lot of help. So, plus I find her to be overly tsundere. You know, she's just over the top tsundere, which is just a little much for me. But that's a character choice, and that's fine. It's just a personal thing. I think that the biggest problem with the series is that it struggles to kind of find what it is. It can't decide if it's going to be a harem kind of comedy anime with some minor battle aspects, or if it's going to be kind of a heavier battle, if it's going to be more of a battle-heavy action anime. And it kind of struggles to find the balance between the two, and I think it kind of fails, because the harem aspects of the series feel out of place, and they feel like they break up the action too much. I think it's a really big downside to the series, and I think it really detracts from what could have been really, really good, because the plot seems like it has a lot of potential. And I think that trying to fuse the two and doing it unsuccessfully really, really hurts this series. Speaking of the plot itself seems simplistic, and then it gets super complicated and convoluted to a bad extent. I kind of lost track of what was going on for the last few episodes, because they don't explain enough, and they kind of throw shit at you and see where it goes. I don't think it's done as well as some other series that leave you shrouded in mystery. I can't think of any right now, but there are some that do it better and then they leave you with they give you enough clues to see what's going on. This just is convoluted and weird. That was another big downside to it. Overall, though, I'd say it's a decent series. I'm waiting for season 2. They do cliffhanger it at the end. They're just about to start up the actual main section of the tournament. That is the setting of the series. It's set in a school, and there's a competition to see who will be the next basically big, grand magic dude person. I don't remember the term they use. And they barely got started on that because they were doing with all sorts of other stuff and side plots and other things. So I'm really excited to see what they do in the next season, and hopefully all these flaws kind of go away. Because usually first seasons, they kind of start things up, but the second season is where it really gets good sometimes. So I'm really hoping that's what happens with this series. I guess I recommend watching it. I'd say wait until the second season starts, because this first season is it's fairly weak. It's still entertaining to watch, at least, if the art direction wasn't just bothering me. But what did you guys think of the first season of Unbreakable Machine Doll? Go ahead and leave your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you could please subscribe, it lets me know that people are actually watching my videos. Again, also, if you like the video, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. It lets me know if my opinions are even vaguely valid. I'm also going to take this opportunity to announce that the format for my channel is going to change slightly. I've been really busy, and I just haven't been able to watch as much anime as I previously was able to. So I'm going to change what I'm going to do a little bit. It'll probably still primarily be reviews, but I might do an episode review for a week. If there's a particular series I'm really liking, I might just do a what I've watched. If I haven't actually finished anything, I may do just a piece on anime terminology. I just may do some terminology occasionally and just kind of explain that for people who aren't as familiar with some of the terms. I may do reviews on anime that are older and aren't as well known, or just anime that aren't as well known but are really good. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to have to kind of choose what I'm going to do. But it's going to change slightly, but I will still have a video out every single Thursday. I'm not going to stop doing videos. I'm just going to change how things are. So until next week, I've been Random Sama 613. This has been Anime Opinions, and until then, watch more anime.